Hi, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Iredell-Statesville Schools EDTalks. Our guest today is Mr. Doug Reed, who is the program manager of a new initiative in our district called Wise Guys. Doug, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming by. I'm very excited about the program that you're managing for the district, and I got to hear a little bit of a presentation earlier this week when you were working with the Leadership Statesville students.
Oh, yeah.
So very interesting work,
Yes.
and I would say it's very timely too.
I definitely agree with that.
This is a new initiative for the Iredell-Statesville Schools, less than a year old. Tell us about your humble beginnings.
Okay. So the Wise Guys program came out of the Children's Home Society, which is based out of Greensboro, and it started back in 1990. And the reason being was because we saw that there was a need to reach out to the young men, because as you know, there's quite a few programs out now for either all-female based programs or combined male and female programs, but they saw the need for something that was more aimed at just guys, and that's how the Wise Guys program come about.
Yeah. Now, the name implies that knowledge is being conveyed to these young men and they're making better decisions.
That is the plan.
Yes. Tell us, what is the mission of Wise Guys?
Okay, yeah. So as the name implies, Wise Guys, we're trying to get the young men to make better decisions. So the Wise Guys program, it's looking at trying to get the young men to think better, to make decisions. As you know, they're going to be put in situations where they're going to have to make some detailed decisions. So the Wise Guys program just kind of equips them with those tools that when those times come up, then they'll be equipped with some type of a tool to make those decisions.
And these are decisions that are potentially life-altering for kids.
Definitely. Decisions
about drug and alcohol involvement, premarital sex.
Exactly.
Some pretty heavy subjects.
That is.
So your curriculum, where does that come from? And tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, great. So the curriculum it's an 8 to 12 session curriculum. And the reason it's 8 to 12 is because it's designed to be flexible with whatever setting we're in. There's some settings where we're not going to be able to get all sessions in, so we look at the key lessons to try and get in. And the curriculum, we're looking at decision makings, like we just mentioned. We're talking about dating. We're trying to reduce dating violence. There are sessions on fatherhood. There are sessions on sexually transmitted infections, contraception, and things like that. Just goal setting, values. We hit that pretty hard. And the whole thing about the Wise Guys program is not designed for us to tell you what your values are. I mean, we're just here to put your values up to some of the decisions that you guys are going to be put up to. So if this does not, coincide with what your values are that you've learned from your parents, your church, or wherever you learned your values are, it's just the right decision. So that's how the Wise Guys program is set up, to kind of just bring their values up to the front.
Right. The end goal, of course, is to produce young men that are better citizens.
Exactly.
And better decision makers, and to be accountable for their actions.
Exactly. Because as you know, there's every year, unfortunately, we hear about some young man that's either in college, gone to college, and they've made a bad decision, and now their future is in jeopardy.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent that from happening. And of course, it's not just on college campuses. It happens, everywhere.
Right.
So we're just trying to prevent those type of things from derailing them from their goals and their dreams.
And how do you engage these young men? Is that during the school day, after school, weekends, or all of the above?
Good question. So the Wise Guys program is very flexible. It's designed to be taught during the school day. Most of the schools, they have some type of free time, where it's a smart lunch or whatever they're calling it in their school, and it's designed to fit within that time frame. And it's usually each lesson is around 35 to 40 minutes each time. So if you figure a school has a block of 1 hour for lunch, the kids still have quite a bit of time to go to that lunch or any other club that they may have during that time.
Now, are you available if a community group wanted to sponsor a group of young men and say, we would like to do this in our church, or on a Saturday or something of that nature? Would you be open to engaging the community members?
Oh yes, of course. We are definitely looking to get more into the community, whether it be working with YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs, or even juvenile detention centers. We're definitely looking for those opportunities, because as the school year ends, we're going to be looking for opportunities where a group of kids are either already, meeting, or a place where we can get together and get those guys together.
Well, I know that my wife and I, when we were raising, we had 3 girls, and you get your family raised, and you think, wow, I got it made. Tough part's over with. And then you have grandchildren, and you start worrying about your grandchildren, or how are they going to come along. And I think everybody acknowledges that our culture and society has changed so much. It is tough to raise children in our society today and teach them right from wrong and put those values in them and whatnot. If you were giving advice to parents of these young men, have you got some quick advice that you would share?
I would say the first thing is to learn the technology, because right now there's so many new technologies out there, and the kids are more familiar with that than we are. And unfortunately, they're learning some of the right and wrong outside of home, and it may not be the correct thing. So I would definitely say that get involved with some of the technology that your kids are involved in, and just learn it and be comfortable with it. That would probably be the key, because during these sessions that I have with the group, I learn a lot. Every session there's something that some young man is telling me about, and it's just mind-blowing.
I remember reading an article not too many months ago about influences on children, and it compared a couple generations ago to today. And they asked people from my generation, what were the chief influences on you as a child growing up? And the majority of the folks would say, my parents, my church, my school, those kinds of answers. When they ask young people today, what are the chief influences on you, they would say, technology, my friends, the community. They didn't even mention some of the old influencers from a generation ago. So I think that is great advice for parents. Is kids do inquire, and they get a lot of knowledge from that internet. And so it pays parents to stay a step ahead of that.
Exactly. I mean, times have changed quite a bit, just like you were mentioning. Back when I was younger, we had just a few TV stations. So after a while, it was time to go outside and play. But now they've got so many options of things that they can watch either on TV or on their devices that's handheld. So, it's a lot out there for them to kind of steer the wrong path. So as a parent, we have to be, alert and kind of be knowledgeable on all of these things.
Well, I tell you, the group that I heard you presenting to earlier this week, you said something that really struck a chord with me, and that is, You can make one decision now as a 14, 15, 16-year-old child that will change the trajectory of your life.
Definitely.
And that is so true, so powerful.
Yeah.
So I commend you on the work that you're doing. I think it's very timely and very needed in our culture and society. If there are folks listening and they would like to get in touch with you to get more information about Wise Guys or possibly have you come out and speak to a group, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, great. They can email me and my email address is dreed, that's DREED, at chsnc.org. That's Children's Home Society. So it's dreed at chsnc.org. And I'd be more than happy to come out there and present and tell them more about Wise Guys, what it's all about and what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, I commend you for the great work you're doing, and
Thank you.
best wishes. I hope you encounter lots and lots of the kids in our community and help them out.
That's what we're planning to do.
Thanks for what you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. And you got the information for Doug there, so reach out to him and learn more about Wise Guys. Thanks for watching.